In my last video, we covered what is skilled worker visa and how to apply for it. However, we didn't delve into the details of certificate of sponsorship, which is COS. A COS is crucial document needed to apply for a skilled worker visa. Unfortunately, there are many scams in the market where recruitment agencies are issuing fake COS now. In 2024 alone, over 1,000 fake COS were issued, leading to the rejection of approx 500 visa applications. This video will be educational, helping you learn how to identify a fake COS, recognize red flags to understand what a genuine COS looks like, and know the mandatory fields to check. We'll also discuss the difference between defined and undefined COS. I'm thrilled to host Amil from Mac25 Immigration to discuss this topic in detail. But before we dive in, let me introduce myself to those who are new here. My name is Sarika and I have been living in the UK for the past 14 years. Currently, I work as a lead business analyst for one of the world's largest tour operators. In my spare time, I create YouTube videos to help you navigate the global job market and find the perfect study abroad destination. I offer two valuable services that I encourage you to take advantage of. The first is free study abroad assistance service. If you're interested in studying abroad in any of these listed countries, please fill out the form provided in the video description and pin comment. My team will reach out to you to assist you with your study abroad plans. And the second service is paid job assistance service. This is a 3-month coaching and mentoring program designed to make you job ready. It's perfect for those struggling to find a job or secure a visa sponsorship in the UK, Ireland, Germany, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. If you're serious about your career and want to land your dream job, enroll in this service. Remember, it requires a 3-month commitment and hard work where both you and I will be working together to make you job ready. I've also hired mentors who have successfully landed visa sponsorship jobs with the right strategy, and they're planning to help you guys as well. It's also for people who want to start their career in IT and also start their career as a business analyst, where I will be your mentor. If you need a help, fill out the form in the description and my pinned comment, or simply email me at yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. Let's make you job ready soon. So without any further delay, let me introduce Amil to you guys. Hi Amil, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy once again, and if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself to my audience, please?
Hi Sarika, thank you for inviting again. My name is Mohammad Amil. I am an immigration lawyer consultant authorized by Immigration Advice Authority. My company name is Mac25 London and we are based in Canary Wharf.
Okay, thank you very much. Amil, so today's topic is about, first of all, understanding what is COS, how to identify whether COS is genuine or fake, because most of my clients and audience who's watching videos, they say there's a lot of scams going around and they had found that it is a fake COS. So how can people escape from that? What are the red flags and how can they make sure it's a genuine COS? So we're going to talk about that. But before that, what is COS? What does it mean? What does it contain? If you can explain that to my audience, will be really helpful.
So certificate of sponsorship is known as COS. So certificate of sponsorship something, it's like an electronic document which is generated by the sponsor management system, the companies which have got sponsor license. So they are eligible to get COS if they want to hire somebody who's non-British, maybe from outside of the UK or within the country. So certificate of sponsorship is nothing but, I would say, like a visa from the company itself before you apply for your actual visa.
So it's like a unique number. What is the kind of number? Is it like a alphanumeric or is it like 9 characters alphanumeric?
Yeah, it's an 11 character number which starts from C. And it is very important, which we are going to cover in the disadvantages and things like that. But this is an electronic number and you do not need to submit your COS when you apply for your skilled worker visa. And at the end of the day, it is better that the COS has not been shared with anyone, because whoever gets it first, they can apply for the skilled worker visa. So it's very delicate.
So what does a typical COS looks like? What does it contain?
So if people is thinking that I am holding the script, this is not a script, this is how the COS looks. So this is a document, this is known as certificate of sponsorship from one of our candidate. Obviously the information has been hidden for confidential reasons. So this is how the COS looks, Sarika.
What does it contain? Can you pay a little closer and explain what does it contain?
So COS contains all the personal information of the candidate who's applying for a skilled worker visa. So let's say first it contains information about the sponsor license number, which is a unique number dedicated to each sponsored company. And then the sponsor name, the unique certificate number, which is of 11 digit that starts from C. And then obviously what is the certificate status, whether it's ready to go, work in progress, assigned, things like that. So that is very important.
So the assigned means it will be given to someone. Say if I'm looking for a sponsor job, so when I get that COS, it should say assigned. It should not be draft.
Exactly. So whenever you get any COS and the sponsor tells you, or any of the, let's say, recruitment agency or anyone, that it is ready to go, you need to understand the status should always be assigned.
Oh.
Otherwise, you shouldn't be applying for your skilled worker visa.
And what does ready to go status mean?
Ready to go, this is a draft COS. So once it's draft, the status would be ready to go. But the fees has not been paid, which includes the immigration skills charge and the cost fee, and it is not actually ready to go for your skilled worker visa.
So it's that time when employer need to pay the immigration skills charge at the time of CS itself.
Exactly.
And that is the requirement, legal requirement of the employers to pay and not the employees. Is that the correct?
Yeah, this is the new rule which we were leaving for this podcast, obviously, that now the Home Office is very strict when it comes to not passing these costs, like which includes the immigration skills charge as well as the certificate of sponsorship, and pass on to their own applicants. So that is very important. That specific fees are just being paid by the company.
Okay, that is really good to know. So after that COS assigned status, what are the remaining details can we see in a typical COS?
So then it shows when the COS was exactly assigned. So this thing is really very important, Sarika, that if somebody is applying for a skilled worker visa today, they'll get to know when the COS was actually assigned. Was it today itself, yesterday? It shouldn't be assigned like last year. So it is very important to know that date. And then when the COS is exactly expiring. So once the COS has been assigned by the sponsor, the candidate gets 3 months. Within 3 months, they need to apply for the visa application, and it expires within that 3 month of time frame. Otherwise, you need a new COS.
So does everyone get that 3 months?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens if someone is not able to apply within that 3 months? What happens to that COS?
Then this is wasted. Obviously, the sponsor won't get the COS back, and once the COS is wasted, they need to request for another COS from the Home Office.
So say for some reason that person was not able to apply due to some medical reason, and now the company need to issue him another new COS if they want to hire this person because they did not apply during that 3 months period. Again, they have to pay the COS cost, they have to pay the immigration skill charge.
Yeah. But obviously, this money would obviously come back to them because the COS has been wasted. So they need to email it to the Home Office. They have given a dedicated email to give it to the ISC team, and the ISC admin team will get back to them, and the money would be refunded.
Okay, if COS not applied, then they refund this money, including the application cost as well.
The immigration skill charge will just be refunded and not the certificate of sponsor fee.
Okay. All right, good to know. What about job code? Do you also see that mention on the COS or not?
That is the most important thing. When you put a wrong job code, it will obviously show you on the COS. So you need to make sure if you're hiring somebody, let's say as a software engineer, that exact 2134, which is SOC code for software engineer, that needs to be put. Otherwise, your COS would be invalid.
Okay, so job code, job title as well. Like what does that code mean? Right.
So for example, I'll say first would be obviously the job title. Then it would be the SOC code, and after that you need to mention the description of the job, that what the exact migrant is going to do. Because Sarika, one thing here we need to understand, regardless of whatever we talk about the certificate of sponsorship, the important thing here is if somebody is applying for a role of software engineer, the summary is really very important, because when the Home Office come back to the sponsor to audit the firm, they would see that what exact summary the sponsor has put on the COS, and the employee is exactly doing the same thing in the company.
Thanks Amel for explaining that. A question about new entrant. If someone is getting a discount under the new entrant category, will it be mentioned in the COS or not?
Exactly. So not in terms of numbers that how much discount they are actually getting, but Home Office will be giving you a box to tick whether this applicant is coming under the new entrant category or not. And then after that, one of the most important box is the job in the immigration salary list.
Right.
So there are so many people who get confused with whether this job is in the eligible occupation code and whether this job is in the immigration salary list.
Those are two different things.
Exactly, and they tick all the boxes, and the cause get invalid, the visa get rejects, and then everything goes into win.
Right. So they need to educate someone need to educate both the employer and the employer, right?
Yeah.
To avoid that.
That is very important, Sarika, because Because obviously when we take any cases, this is our responsibility to make sure that the right boxes are always ticked, whether it's the COS or the skilled worker visa. But sponsors, maybe they want to save some management fees. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe they think they know law better. But at the end of the day, they always tick wrong boxes, and the candidate's visa is expiring tomorrow. And obviously the candidate do not have time to get a new COS. But the good thing is, if the employer comes to a realization before the application has been submitted, they can add any errors which is made on the sponsor note. So for example, if they forget to mention that they certify the maintenance, maybe the candidate is a new entrant and they forgot to tick that box. Maybe they tick the box that the candidate is a new entrant where they are not. So those small bits and pieces, they can obviously amend it on the sponsor note.
Okay.
But not things like SOC code, not things like job title, summary. Those things cannot be included. So that is very important, that there is a difference between including minor things and major things on sponsor note.
What about salary? Will it include salary as well on the COS?
It does, because salary is obviously, when you tick the new entrant category, you would calculate that you obviously give 30% discount on the salary. So let's say, I'll always give the example of a software engineer where the salary threshold is now about 50,500, and after putting up the discount, it comes to around 36,000 or 38,000 pounds. So obviously do that discount and you put that number.
Okay, good, Amel. Thank you very much for explaining in detail what a typical COS looks like. Now we have understood the structure of COS. Can I understand the difference between defined COS and undefined COS, which you had been talking about a lot, but we never talked in depth. So it will be nice for me to learn, and also my audience. What is it and what is the difference between two?
So before the new rule changed, Sarika, it used to known as restricted COS and unrestricted COS. But now the name have been changed to defined and undefined. So defined COS is something that somebody needs to apply to the home office, that they would like to hire somebody who's not based in the UK. So that is called a defined COS. Whereas undefined COS is something, maybe they identified somebody who's a student, or maybe who's on a graduate route, already on a dependent visa, or maybe they want to switch from one skill visa to another. So for those people, in a nutshell, who are based in the UK, we can use undefined COS for them.
And does it contain any importance, or which is better, if I have to ask, defined versus undefined? Does it really matter when I apply for a skill visa, depending on whether it's undefined or defined?
See, now since it's been 6 months, I have seen these changes. It is very difficult to get a defined COS because the process of the application is completely different. I think deserve a different kind of a podcast just to discuss about defined and undefined COS, because when you apply for a defined COS, you just go to the sponsorship management system and you just give small details about it, and 99% of the times now I have seen home office comes back with a lot of queries. Whereas undefined COS, you get about 2000 characters to explain that how many COS do you want, what are the job titles, job codes, and everything you can explain in detail. Whereas in defined COS, you are just mentioning about the roles, the responsibilities, the dates, and how many number of COS you want. So there is a big difference in the application process as well when it comes to them.
Yeah, and in the COS letter, it will mention whether it is defined or undefined COS.
Exactly. There are 6 different types of undefined COS.
Okay, now the next biggest question is, once I have got a COS letter, or my students or immigrants who have got it, how do they identify whether it is fake or genuine? How can they do it themselves?
Just apply for the visa and see if it is wrong or not. But to be really honest, I have seen a lot of families getting into trouble because home office sees this case as a case of deception. If you apply for a COS which is not valid, which is not genuine, then you might get a deception of 10 years. You are not able to come back to the UK. So at the end of the day, it is very important, as you said, that how to identify. I think the number one thing would be, do you really getting the COS from your sponsor directly? Because some people get it from recruitment agencies, or maybe third parties involved, or maybe any other kind of firm involved in between. So it is very important that whenever you get a COS from any party, you need to call up your sponsor, or maybe have a formal email conversation with them and confirm whether this is the genuine COS or not. Second thing, obviously we see about like 10 COSs a day, I would say. So it is very common for us to check the fonts, whether the font is as per the original COS or not, whether the digits are 11, 10 or 9, whether it starts from the alphabet C. So those are the small bits bits and pieces, but some extra useful tips I would like to give to everyone watching this. At the end of the day, first you need to check, and the most important thing is the register of the sponsor, whether the sponsor is actually registered as a sponsor or not. Then obviously there are pay details as well on the COS, so you can check with the HMRC as well whether the pay details are exactly as per the company or not.
Oh, so they need to call HMRC for that.
Obviously they can get information maybe from HMRC, or they can get email from the company as well directly. Can you please provide us your PAY number? Because that is very important for anyone to be 100% sure whether the COS is genuine or not. So whether or not you get from HMRC, you need to officially get it from your company, because the sponsor, obviously in the formal email, they have to be very specific that this is the genuine COS or this is the fake one, and they will give you the information about that.
I think this is too much for anyone to go and do a background check to identify whether it's fake or not. Is there not any online system where if I just give my COS number with other details, do you think the system or the UK government website will not tell me, hey, this is fake one, be careful?
You know, it's very funny. There was one fake system that was out in the market, and people, my clients used to send me, see, Home Office has, you know, now this system where you put the COS number and you get to know whether it's genuine or fake. That system itself is fake. Home Office do not have a system like that. So I know many of the clients has used this system, have used this website, and they come to me that, you know, this is a new system online and we have used this, and I said, this is not right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not legal.
That's not sounding too good to me as someone who is new to the UK market. And when I look at the COS, I have to call HMRC, I have to find out whether they have license or not. There should be one place, you know, UK government website where I give the COS number just to see whether it's genuine or not. I should have that information, and I think as an immigrant or someone who's applying for skill visa, that is important.
But Sarika, there are few things, you know, like SOC codes. SOC codes should be matching whatever is there on the website. You need to check the salary, whether they have given you exact salary or not. You need to check the job description. So there are so many things, you know, it's not just about PAY. There are other stuff as well where you can cross check, because when there is a fake COS, you know, everyone cannot be 100% right. And there is one system failure as well, like when you apply for a skilled worker visa and let's say the COS number is fake and the cause is not genuine, the system doesn't stops you to apply for the visa application.
Oh my god. So say with the fake COS, I go to the UK government website, skill visa, I can give that number, it will take that, and then I can progress. The system doesn't even do a check that COS is issued by which company and whether it's matching or not.
So you do not get stopped when you put an invalid COS number, but you do get stopped when you put a sponsor license number which is not right. So I have seen, obviously in fake COS, the sponsor license number is always right because it stops you there and there to progress from the application, but it doesn't stops you when it comes to the COS number.
So it means somebody can progress further with those applications.
Exactly.
And then what happens if someone applies for a visa with a fake COS?
I've seen two scenarios, and I'll give you a very recent scenario that one of the client came to me, we applied for a skilled worker visa, and the Home Office came back to us and they said, you have got 10 working days. Either you need to switch to other immigration category, or maybe you need to give us a valid COS. So that's thing number one. And one of the scenario where we did not apply for a skilled worker visa, obviously the candidate got visa refusal and got a deception for 10 years ban.
Why? Because he used a fake COS to apply.
Exactly. And the problem was, Sarika, that COS has been given to him by a recruitment firm.
So let's talk about recruitment firm. You're talking about a lot and I don't know really the difference. So is there a difference when a recruitment firm gives you a COS versus an employer gives?
Yeah, so what happens, let's say if you use any recruitment firm, and I'm not talking big recruitment firms, I'm talking there are like thousands and millions of recruitment firms now in the UK. So you, for example, you apply for a job, you get a COS from a recruitment firm. Recruitment firm is a third party. It bridges the gap between the main applicant and the sponsor. You don't even know whether you're getting a right COS or not. So let's say if the recruitment firm is saying this is ABC Limited, so you need to contact ABC Limited and get to know whether this is the COS being generated by them or not. One of my client scenario from Nigeria, he recently got a COS from a recruitment firm, and when he applied for a skilled worker visa, I saw the COS and I got to know this is fake because I just saw the font, the alphabet size were different. So I called the candidate, I said, from where did you got the COS? He said from a recruitment recruitment firm. And then I asked him to call the company. Turns out the company said we don't even have a CoS allocation. We didn't even, assigned any COS to anyone. So
somebody was just using that name
exactly
to sell it. Say they are companies or recruitment firms. Do recruitment firms also have their own licenses here?
Yes.
Okay. So they can issue COS if they have a license.
Yeah, but they won't take this advantage on their own name because that is a big risk for them.
Yeah, because I was about to ask. So
Yeah.
if I complain, say if I apply for a skill visa and I get that from home office,
Yeah.
I can provide the detail of employer who is a recruitment firm who
Exactly.
provided it and they have a registered address.
Right.
So my question was, what happens to them if I complain to home office? Will they remove their authority license?
See, irrespective whatever happened to them, obviously home office, HMRC, whatever authorities will get involved, they'll get a backfire on the same thing. And regardless of whatever happened, but your time is gone. So whatever we are discussing right now, we are discussing from a perspective of an individual,
Yeah.
of a migrant. Obviously, a big action would be taken against the company. The license would be revoked and they would be fined for a penalty or maybe imprisonment. But what happens to the candidate? The time is gone.
Time is gone. Yeah.
And it is very difficult to justify to the home office as well that you actually were being frauded by a company and you were not aware about it, because it is important. There are very few things and few instances I have seen where you can actually identify whether the COS is genuine or fake. But these bits and pieces, whatever we discuss right now, I think that could at least save some of the people, not 100%, but at least I expect 50% of them, so that they could at least save themselves and their families from financial loss and loss of getting a visa in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Amil. So we discussed a lot about COS today. How does it look like? What is COS? What is defined versus undefined COS? We also talked about red flag, how to identify. Any more final tips to my audience on this topic?
I think a couple of them I would say. First, it is very important for you to check the expiry dates till when your COS has been valid, because at the end of the day, when I have seen a fake COS where the date of the expiry was already been passed. And those are the very minor details which people fail to see and understand. Okay. And the last, and it is one of the important, I would say, that the status of the COS. Is it ready to go? Is it assigned? Is it work in progress? What is it? So the status of the COS is as important as any other thing.
Okay, so it should be assigned. That is the status they should look for. They should look at the expiry date of COS. Of course, COS number which should start with C.
11 digits.
Yeah, you should have your eligible occupation code, SUC code, along with the description, along with the salary. And if you're getting a discount, then the name of like new entrant discount or something like that. Employer's details, employer's license number, I think address as well. So those are the important bits that you should look.
Exactly.
So I hope this video is helpful to you guys. So stay vigilant and be careful and avoid all those scams. And if you require any legal help, you can reach out to Amil and the team. You can also send us an email on ykb@mac25.co.uk. And you can book a free consultation with Amil's team. Links are in the description and pinned comment. Thank you, Amil. Thank you for coming and recording this video with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarika. Thank you so much.